Have you ever accidentally texted the wrong person? What did you say? Texted, "Get Chipotle," to my bedridden grandmother. She probably delivered, knowing how grandmums are. When I was a brand new private, I texted my squad leader, "I'll see you when I get home, love you." He replied, "I love you too boo heart, see you at PT." I had to give a statement at a police station, but the appointment started late. My GF asked where I was, so I texted, "I'm with DAPO lease," straight to the detective I was about to see. I had just started a new job and was sick. I texted my boss to let him know I was going to be out of the office. About 30 minutes later I decided to text me wife. She calls me fatty, so I texted fatty fatty to her. Or so I thought. Instead I sent the text to my new boss. Oh, the horror. He responded simply with a "huh?" I quickly replied with a "sorry, wrong person," and left it at that. I avoided him the rest of the week at work. Oh my god, I can only imagine your boss being like, "Did this dude just call me fat? Hey, I'm not coming to work today." Fetus. Somewhat related. I took over my grandpa's old phone number after he passed. I let everyone in my family know to change the name in their phone so grandpa wouldn't text them from the dead. I sent a text to myself a couple of weeks ago and freaked out because apparently I never changed his contact info in my own phone. Text was supposed to go to my ex-GF but went to a 60-year-old general contractor who was doing remodeling on my house. I texted, "Love you sugar pie." He texted back, "Love you sugar pie too." We had a good laugh about it the next time I saw him. And then things got hot. There were power tools involved, a lot of nailing. Once texted a buddy of mine a message intended for my wife, "I'm coming home, baby." He responded, "Oh, I'll put on a nightie." My friend did this and he didn't realize it wasn't his girlfriend after my first ridiculous response. So I just started piling on with all kinds of stuff, "I'm gonna blow a kazoo up your ass," and he's all. My sister sent me a picture of her baby bump and said 14 weeks. I accidentally replied to the wrong person with a picture of my pushed out stomach, and said dinner. Accidentally texted my mom, "Bitch, where are you?" when I tried to refer to my friend. That was not a good night. We were bringing my mother a s'mores cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. My phone was dead, so I used my husband's to tell her we had gotten her a cheesecake. Except I went to "Mom" in the contacts and wound up telling his mom we had gotten her a cheesecake. So we had to drive another 45 minutes away and get his mom a cheesecake too. I thought I was texting my wife but texted a customer, "God, I'm fucking fat." Customer told me I'm not fat, so I got that going for me. I once sent all of my coworkers a group text that said, "These chickens look horrible. I don't like them." I meant to send that to my wife. I was supposed to pick up a rotisserie chicken for dinner, but I didn't like my choices, so I went with something else. IDK, why this made me laugh so hard. I've recounted this here before, that I accidentally sent an unkind text to someone about them. I realized it at the last possible second and managed to turn off the phone. The last thing I saw on the screen was "message not sent," which was a relief. But how could I turn my phone back on without it sending? Help me, Google. Long story short, I ended up making a Faraday cage in the clothes dryer by draping aluminum foil over the opening. I put the phone into a stainless steel cooking pot inside the dryer, then turned it on and slammed the lid onto the pot. I stuck my head through the foil curtains to make sure the phone wasn't getting a signal, then switched it into airplane mode and deleted the text. It worked. Wow, so much effort, it must have been really unkind. Care to elaborate on the actual message, who it was for? It was bad. I said that I was annoyed that so-and-so kept referring to her sloppy, overweight daughter as beautiful. The opposite happened with me. I got a text from a random number saying, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I took a selfie of my big doofy goateed face and said, I think you got the wrong number. I hope everything works out." I sent another text a few days later asking if everything went okay, but never got a response. When I screenshot my chat with a person to show my friend, but I accidentally show it to the person instead. That when you say, "Look how low my battery is," and hope for the best. Have a group text with my group of friends and constantly talk shit with each other about random shit. Texted what I thought was my group of friends that "I'm gonna throw up in your asses." Yeah, no, like any good friend says to the others. Sent it to a work group text instead, which included my boss. They took it pretty well considering. Mostly just a lot of "WTFs. Boss never replied. Guess I won't throw up in his ass." Oh boy, I posted this the other day on another thread, but one time I text my boyfriend saying I'm going to masturbate now, except instead of sending it to my boyfriend, I sent it to a group chat I have with my dad and 3 brothers, sad face. I was on Skype with a friend of mine. She was going on and on about some guy, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I texted my sister who was sitting about 5 feet away from me something along the lines of wow, friend's name won't shut up with an eye roll emoji. I looked over at my sister and discreetly pointed at my phone to signal she should check hers. Except she looked really confused, and when I looked back at the screen I noticed my friend had stopped talking to check a text she just got. I accidentally texted my friend about how she would NT shut up, instead of sending it to my sister as intended. I had to play it off like I meant to send it to her because she would NT let me get a word in, but I knew she would check her phone if she got a text. So yeah, that was a little embarrassing. I was lamenting to my sir in person about a long-term group project in university, and was holding my phone at an odd angle and accidentally sent a voice text to my project team complaining about them. I may have used the term the Avengers of being lazy. I didn't mention them by name, and played it off as I was talking about some other people. I have no idea if they bought it. I felt shitty about it after I should have talked to them directly. Oh god, this makes me stomach feel weird just thinking about it. Alright, let's hop on the memory express. All aboard. So I was 18 and I went home to visit my friends who had just graduated from public school. I went to boarding school a ways away. There were probably 50 to 70 kids at this party. It was in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, on an apple orchard. There were little fires everywhere, a lot of cheap beer, and pheromones were in the air. Anyways, the father of the kid who was hosting the party dragged a tree across the exit of the property to stop people from drunk driving. This will come into play later. Great parenting decision right there. Anyways, I wanted to meet up with a lady I had been seeing on my breaks from boarding school. Her name was Molly, which just so happens to be next to mother in my cell phone. Yes, this is happening. Molly and I are texting back and forth, and things are heating up. And she's going to try to come by the party later that night. Meanwhile, I'm a stupid 18-year-old who doesn't really know how to drink. And this was before my body had turned into the alcohol dumpster it is today. So I get drunk, and I think I should call Molly for God knows what reason. Well, I end up calling my mother and leaving a pretty fucking terrible voicemail on her cell phone. Very sexual, very drunk, and so begins Operation Make It Back Home to delete the voicemail before my mom wakes up. Well, the only problem with being that drunk is that I didn't know that any of this took place until it was already too late. So yeah, my mom heard the voicemail. It was terrible. My god, I still have no idea what I said. I'm 23 now, and I don't think I want to think about this again for at least another 5 years. I was in high school at a New Year's Eve party and I had multiple people texting me saying Happy New Year's. One of them happened to be my grandmother and I responded Happy New Year's bitch MFN wasted. I then realized it was my grandma and said just kidding. I got no response and she never brought it back up. Awkward. 13-year-old me texted my middle school boyfriend I saw people kissing on the TV and it makes me wanna kiss you. Cringetopia, accidentally sent it to my mom. Was embarrassing. Meant to text my wife about my office mate who was dieting by eating an entire Papa John's large cheese pizza and a 2L of Coke in one sitting for lunch, but texted him instead. Before I started dating my GF and we were just talking actually before our first date even I went out with my buddy and drank way too much. I started drunk texting my GF, just being stupid and flirty. I'm a happy-go-lucky drunk, what can I say? In between texts to her I texted a friend of mine that I was worried I was being way too forward and coming on too strong, but at the moment a 45-minute Uber to see the girl would totally be worth it. Except it didn't go to my friend, it went to my now GF. 5 minutes later she responded with she was going to bed soon but she would love to see me sober the next day. I cringed so hard when I realized what I did, but she still occasionally asks if she's worth a 45-minute Uber still. Edit the next day we went on our first date and it was the best either of us have ever had. Fuck walking 1,000 miles, Ubering 1,000 miles is where the love's at. My ex's name is Tom. My younger sister's boyfriend is also named Tom. The wrong Tom once got an extremely naked photo of yours truly. Ended up being something we still laugh about, but I will never forget that OOHHHH shit moment when I realized the photo had gone to the wrong Tom. At least it was relatively tasteful as far as nude photos go. I accidentally texted my lawn guy a video of dude's power walking to rap music with the caption, "Get on my level." He did not respond. A few jobs ago, my boss told us that she was leaving early because she wasn't feeling well. As she was driving out of the parking lot, I got a text from her that said, "Just left work, can't wait for you, F me so hard, be there in 10 minutes. I was thoroughly embarrassed for her. Not me, but my wife. She was working as a car salesman at the time. She had been texting a customer about the status of the car he was buying, so his number was the last one open. Being that we have no filter around each other, she texts me that she took the biggest, nastiest shit ever. Only she didn't text me, but the customer. Luckily the purchase was already complete and he laughed it off. I was messaging a girl on Tinder that was really hot, and seemed super cool, so I was trying to make a good impression. At the time I was Saturday in a rooftop tent at a riad in Morocco. There was a cat that would come hang out with us in the tent, and climb all over the place, and I named it Monkey Cat. I was having another conversation at the same time with a friend at the time, where I clearly didn't care about making a good impression, and in response to them telling me to take care, I said, "Don't worry, Monkey Cat is protecting us." Except I sent it to Tinder girl instead of my friend. Totally out of context. I received a reply of, "Okay." I texted my first serious GF what I meant to text my older brother. "Do you recommend breakups in public or in private? I will forever be haunted by it because that girl was a class act." I was young, dumb and full of cum. I feel horrible about how that went down. As you can imagine, we broke up. Was waiting for a slow group of friends in my car one day. They were taking forever, so I texted them, "You guys having some sort of suck fest up there?" Except I didn't text my friend. I texted my father. "You have just been visited by the study pupper. This pupper will grant you good grades and A's on every test you forgot to study for life, if you comment, 'Study the test, pupper.'